Hey, what's going on? What's going on? So I saw somebody kind of make a video, and they were talking about how, you know, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolly being on pay-per-view shows that people are sheep, you know. And then so I have to ask. I want to ask a question like, are you quote sheep, or are you quote somehow stupid for buying, Rolly versus Gervonta Tank Davis on pay-per-view? And quick answer to that is F no, absolutely not. I remember back in the day when Mike Tyson was fighting. How many fights did Mike Tyson have on pay-per-view where he knocked the dude out in 1-2 rounds? You know what I'm saying? It's not only about the opponent that you're facing, it's also about the star, the attraction, which is Gervonta Tank Davis, which is Mike Tyson. So when somebody gets to that particular level, somebody that people really want to see really bad, see his skill sets and see what he does, yes, which is very few people. It's usually only about 1, 2, maybe 3. It's not that many people, where people are like, you know what, I always want to pay, I'll pay to watch him fight. And Tank happens to be one of them. Earl Spence happens to be the other one right now, as far as the United States is concerned. Wilder, when he fights, he's the other one. Pretty much it's just those 3 though. Crawford once in a while goes on pay-per-view and it does okay. But yeah, when somebody's an attraction like that and people really want to see him like that, yes, you're gonna have to pay. And then when he faces like top tier opponents, you're gonna have to pay more. Usually, the price ends up then being bumped up. But it's no different than any other sport. Like if you're talking about football, when the Patriots used to play and you had Tom Brady at the helm, when the Patriots were playing these bum teams, the Browns, when they were like 1-55, all these teams only had 1-2 wins, you still were paying substantially higher tickets in order to watch, them play that bum team than other stadiums would have to pay for them. Like I'm talking about 2 top tier teams playing against each other in other stadiums. You'd have to pay more for this because Tom Brady, because the Patriots, they're blockbuster. When those were the Dallas Cowboys, when you had that monster team that won a couple of rings with Emmitt Smith and Irving and that beast mode quarterback whose name I don't remember right now for some reason. You're going to have to play. It didn't matter if they're playing a 0-55 team. You're going to have to pay a lot of money to watch that game. The Showtime Lakers. It didn't matter who they were playing. You're going to have to pay substantially more money than you would for any other team, especially with that level of competition. But when the level of competition jumped up, guess what? You're going to have to pay even more. This is just because not only about who they're playing, it's also about seeing them, and what they do. So, so yes, this fight should be pay-per-view because Tank is one of those guys right now. And I'll ask anybody, please, somebody tell me all the fights that Tank has been on pay-per-view that was trash. One, where you didn't leave that saying, you got your money's worth. I saw that crowd. I heard those crowds in those fights. They had people in pins and needles from the Santa Cruz fight, to the when he went up to 140 pounds and he's taking on a top 5 fighter that's ridiculously bigger and stronger than him, with the Barrios fight. That was a spectacular fight as well. That was a super entertaining fight. Who left that fight saying, damn it, I wish I didn't pay my $75 for that fight? Or even the Cruz fight, they kept telling us, hey, Cruz, he's tough, I'm saying? He's a late replacement, but he's a tough fighter, and it's going to be a lot harder than people think. And it ended up being that because the guy was short. Tank is built to fight these tall, lanky guys. His whole style is set on that. So him having to fight this short, compact guy that's actually smaller than him gave him a lot of different difficulties that he usually doesn't have. And then on top of that, he ended up hurting his hand. So you've seen him have to, pull out into that bag in order to come out victorious in that fight. And absolutely, it was worth every freaking penny. So this guy is giving you your money's worth every single time. And then when you see this particular fight, it's a good card. It's a good card. You know what I mean? It's a good freaking card. And nobody should feel ashamed of wanting to buy this fight or to support this fight. I'm going to buy this fight. Tank, every single time he's fought, he's given me everything that I've wanted. Every single time. you know, and I'm not an idiot. People like to just spill out names. Oh, he should be fighting Shakur. He should be fighting this guy. He should be fighting that guy. I understand what's it called, the setup of boxing. I understand when it comes to the top ranked fighters, the top tier fighters, they're keeping those fights in-house. That's just what it is. The Zone, Eddie Hearn, I know how the issues with him and making fights. I know the issue when it comes to him. I've seen them when Tevin Farmer was offered $2 million and he told Tevin Farmer to turn that money down and have Tevin Farmer go fight for $500,000. So I know the bullish that he's all about. I've seen him turn down $80 million with 2-fight deal for Anthony Joshua, $50 million for the first fight up front, $30 million if he loses, $30 million guaranteed for the second fight. Him turn that down. So I know when it comes to him, the BS that comes around with him. You know, so I don't close my eyes. I've seen with the Ryan Garcia, them offer him, try to negotiate a deal with him, and then walk away from that. So I understand, you know, when you look at the landscape of boxing and what is. So I understand that out of all the fights he could have set up, like realistically, yeah, this is one of the best fights he could do. And it was mandated. And it puts him into a position where if Kambosos wins that fight against Devin Haney, they're ordering that fight. Kambosos wins that fight gets ordered. And all of a sudden, boom, he's fighting for undisputed. That's what happens. So, you know, there's also reasons for him fighting this guy. You know, so, nah. So, sheep, absolutely not. Just because somebody else might not like something, you know, doesn't mean that you have to go with what they say or you're sheep. Because that's actually what would make you sheep. Because somebody says, hey, this isn't worth the pay-per-view about, so, oh, I'm not going to pay for it because he's saying it's not worth pay-per-view money. You know, that's actually what makes you. He's like, yo, you know what? I like this fighter. I like watching him fight. And I'm willing to support him and buy whatever fight that he fights. That doesn't make you sheep. Deontay Wilder could go fight a homeless man tomorrow. I'm paying for that fight because I'm supporting everything Deontay Wilder does. That's just what it is. Call me what you want. I'm doing that. He could literally get a homeless man, put him in the ring, drunk, twisted out of his mind, put it on pay-per-view. I'm paying for that. Because that man gave me everything I wanted to see in the fight. He put it all on the line in ways he never had to do. So because he did that and gave me everything I wanted, from the Fury fights to the Ortiz fights, yeah, go fight a homeless fight next time, Wilder. I'm paying for it. And you can call me whatever L you want to. I'm paying for it. That's what I want to do with my money. That's what I'm choosing to do with my money. So, fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just because people don't agree with you or you believe something doesn't make them sheep. You know? Like the people who are saying, Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence shouldn't be on pay-per-view and it's not going to do what's good on pay-per-view. Same person who said, Earl Spence versus Sean Porter shouldn't be on pay-per-view. It's not going to do good on pay-per-view. Well, a whole bunch of us said, no, we believe it should be on pay-per-view and we want to see those fights. And that's what we decided. We said that. And people are saying, you know what, when it comes to Tank, yeah, they want to see his fights. That fight's going to do over $3 million at the gate. You see how high those ticket prices are? See how high those ticket prices are? There would be morons not to have it on pay-per-view. Because people clearly want to see that dude and they want to see him fight bad. They want to see him fight bad. And they're willing to pay for it because he gives them what they want when it comes to entertainment. Just like Mike Tyson used to give people what they want when it came to entertainment. So they paid for his fights. They paid for it. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. So no. Does buying this fight makes you a sheep? Absolutely not. And I like the card too. I think it's pretty cool. So don't let anybody tell you that. You have your own mind. And you spend your money on what you want to spend your money on. And that's just what it is. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.